Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is Monday, January 12th, 2026, and what we're going to be looking at today is going to be the MNQ market. So we'll look at overall the futures in whole, but really what we're focused on is taking executions on MNQ. There's no news, so to me, that pretty much shows that we have a chance to see more upside than anything. So let's see what we end up getting today here. Just give me a few seconds. I'm just updating some stuff, but let's get it. Okay, and then what can we see here? Just so I can see more of that. Add this to Telegram really quick. Oh, that's why Telegram's saving up. Okay. Okay. What's good? What's good? Yeah, and just so you know, Javier, that Ciroc name is probably about to change. I'm having a hard time not wanting to let go. Let's see what we can find today. Give me like just a few minutes so we can really lock in here. Repost this. Okay, and then we'll go back to here. Okay. So we should be pretty good on the Telegram, everything like that. Um, just kind of want to see. Let's run through this really quick here. So really quickly, when you're looking at, I'm just gonna go over NQ for right now. All the other markups, once we start the stream, I'm gonna starting the streams around 8 to get like a full breakdown. But for today, we'll just focus on NQ. But looking at that daily, kind of like I was talking about, like on Instagram or if you're in the Telegram chat, is the wick rejections off this 650 level, right? So this 650 level still seeing rejections in my eyes, right? Um, when you're looking at a 4 hour candle, this looks like uh, demand to me, right? So like this candle here essentially is like a demand candle that's holding since last week. And so when you stretch that out into the end of day, right? Red line is just end of day. You're starting to see prices, bodies closing higher in this area, which are good signs. Now the other thing is that I personally see, and if you guys hear anything in the background, it's going to be Top Step. I just have them in the background. But now when you look at the H1 here, this H1 is also holding a good demand candle. Now, the reason why I like these areas of demand, let me make sure I'm watching my timing here, as demand is because if you take a look at the overnight price, right? Price opened at 25,946. So let's just round up 4 points to 950s. Price fell to 850, 750, 650. So 300 handles to the downside. And the buyers most likely had most of their buy limits or TPs set in this area, right? And so now, if they're not going to get that push lower, which we'll go over what we'll look for if we do get the push lower, but if they're not going to get that push lower, this demand should hold and we should push back up into the 880s to 900 whole level. All right, now if we do fall over, right, and you kind of want to look on this higher time frame as well when I'm doing this. But if we do, right, if we do fall over and we take that low of day, I would anticipate another fall to previous day low, so Friday's low, and then possibly Thursday's low to start attacking down, as you can see on that higher time frame, right, into that 4-hour demand. All right, so that's kind of where my focus is today. I don't want to overthink it or anything like that. We'll go over to the execution window here in just a second, and let me make sure I have everything set up before I get to going. Now today is going to be a little different because I'm just going to execute. Right? If you guys have any questions, just drop it in the chat. But like going forward, that's how I like to trade. I don't like to sit there and talk like crazy. So let's go ahead and go over to the execution window and get this thing going. And so let me do that really quick. Okay. So let's get to the executions, and then make sure you trade safe and let's have an amazing week. I'm gonna be watching higher time frames and seeing certain things, but I just want to be able to videotape the my execution areas. Now as well, I am gonna pull away my my camera during this part just so that I can we can get full screen on this. There is about a 15-second delay on YouTube, right? To what I think what most people are seeing, I believe. So we'll work with that as we go and cut that time down. But let's get it. Let's focus up. I'll be peeking into like excuse me, into like ES and YM as well, especially ES because ES is a really good asset to cover at the same time that you're playing NQ. So we'll definitely be peeking over into that as well throughout the session. So I don't know if I marked up that much YM so today, not that I really remember. But I do like those levels on NQ. So we got about 1 minute. So like I said, I'm going to be focused on executing, and then if we have any questions, just let me know. Now the chat is kind of down today to where I can't really see it as good. So tomorrow I'll have the chat up a little bit better. But what is the purple line entry? Is that a question that you're asking? The purple line entry that's on there right now is just London Open. So just looking at just understanding where that price is. And like I said, I'll try my best to look at the chat as much as I can. Super explosive first minute. So out the gate, I mean that's excuse me, that's really strong. I don't chase trades like that, but like looking at ES at the same time, that's really good. And then our higher time frame bias that we were looking for looks really good with this. So but that's really explosive. Like we were wanting to see immediate upside. So if they define an edge, I'll look for something to play. But like right now, I'm not really like forcing it or anything. And then YM started off downside, which is perfect. That's what we like to see. And then Tay, feel free to drop it in chat if you take anything or any areas, or if you took those shorts to the low of day. Okay, we'll take some notes here. Yeah, no, not yet. I'm just being patient right now. And then we want to mark. I personally mark whole levels and half levels. So, um, just understanding where psychological numbers where players are going to play is very key. So we'll mark that, and we'll mark this over here. Whole level. 25, 800. So when price flies that fast, I'm gonna be looking for maybe something to pull back. But let's watch this ES as well here, and then I'm gonna look at QQQ really quick. QQQ gap down. So let me write that down really quick. And then I do like that 4 hour response. I do want to bring this up here really quickly, just because I'm not like taking a position like right here or anything. If you look over here, we did respect that 4 hour candle I was just talking about, and we respected that open of that dump candle and the point of interest. Okay, so the likelihood of us continue higher to me just seems like it's going to work out. If we find some edge, then we'll attempt it. Until we get to until we get to like an execution, I'm gonna leave it here. So we're just getting that range to break down, right? So if you're looking at certain levels, because I know some people trade ES as well, that's why I want to make sure and show ES at the same time. And then we have 6,050, 6,950. So that's kind of like the range I'm looking at for ES right now. So 6,950 up to 7,000, kind of like that level. And so with this moving so fast, the very first 15 minutes, um, I'm gonna let it do its thing. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna push it. That first 5 minutes was extremely bullish. I mean, we had about 100 handle moves, so 100 plus handle move. Nice, good job, Javier. Yeah, I mean that would be pretty good, bro. I'll go back over to here. I'll go to this window so you can kind of see where my focus really is here. Here on the middle screen, and so where my focus is now is like when you're looking at like a fib retracement. Since I'm not in this move, is like the previous day high is my target. The current low of day is here, and anything above this 50% is pretty good. And then as we're approaching now the whole level, all right, 25,900 here. That's where I would anticipate like buyers exiting a little bit. But until you really get anything like bearish in a 5 minute, I would say like just take your risk and move it up to this wick low, the 844s. It's not a bad area, so. But I'm gonna lock in here because I might be finding a little short to go against you. We're respecting that 80 level pretty nicely, so. I'm gonna go back to execution window so we can focus over there. Maybe find something still. So ES is really explosive too, kind of like we talked about. Um, so I want to show that just really quick. Look how explosive that price is, right? We're already taking off outside of that demand. 69.69, you're already up almost 20 handles on that in the first 15 minutes. That's a lot, especially when you're risking like only 3 to 5 points per setup. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna come back over here really quick. Okay. So some people would buy this like right here, but I'm just gonna be patient. It's Monday. Looking at that 53, 63, 73. That wouldn't be bad actually. Okay. So 889, 79, 69. I'm always looking for about a 20 handle risk from my edge, so um, you guys will see over time. There's nothing really showing me like right yet, but I am gonna keep my eyes monitored here. Okay, we could be looking to go short here with the stop at the high of the market. I'm just gonna be really monitoring this 5 minute area. Oh, nice. Okay, I was just looking. Okay, sorry guys. Not really seeing it yet, so still being patient here. So. And then 889, so 79.69. So keep watching here. 835 to 40. Why does that keep staying up? ES is still really, really strong. So not really any 5-minute strength or 5-minute weakness yet. Okay, so let's look at this area here. Not really seeing the 5-minute weakness yet, so just being patient. And then guys, the excuse me, the community chat for OmniProfit will be open on the free version. Will be open on Telegram today, where everybody can drop like their markups in and stuff like that. So I know we've got some stuff already going on ES. I got my friend up on ES. I got a couple homies up on the YM buys. So that way we can centralize the community and get everything set that way, because we're not gonna have multiple chats. Price looks really bullish here, so I'm going to be patient. Still 5 minutes, pretty strong. So first 15 minutes is looking pretty strong overall. Just want to bring this over here really quickly as well, and just kind of show, look how bullish ES is off the demand, right? I mean, it's pretty evident, right? That candle that we were talking about pre-market. And then we have people got joysticked on US 30, and then they bought the fast move, I would think. So I'm gonna lock in over here though. Oh shit, we're about to miss our moves. Me talking too much. Okay, I gotta be really locked in here. I'm still looking to go short in this, somewhere like this area here, and I don't want my risk to be much higher than the highs here right now. So the body's on the 5. So if it goes higher than here, I'll probably attempt one more, but I need to be locked on this execution window. Now, if it continues higher here, then I'd wait for like market open, because it's just not ready yet. But if it can slip here, then I would be attacking like New York low, or like this low here, 25.720s. So let's see if we can get that. That risk might be a little risky though, just because I needed to be locked in right there at 72s to have my risk at that 92. So we shall see what they give us here. Okay, so I like that so far. So what we'll see is if we can slide back down to New York potentially here, and then because of the entry, I will cover a little bit sooner today than normal. So I'm gonna go ahead and add one risk in here like this, just in case, and then I'll add into the trade if I want to. Because if it goes back up, I don't want to accept that type of risk on the first trade because of the location. So, but I'll let the runner run if it does. Okay, so let's be patient. cool. I'll accept that smaller amount and leave this runner to run. Now, like I said, I have this across all the accounts, so it's like I really want the risk high, but like because of flipping back over here like this, I'm gonna have to just accept this right now. And I've got to turn those alerts off for Telegram because they're going crazy right now. And so let me make sure that hit us for at least a profit. I mean, 89 cents. So if they break down here, they do. If they don't, then like I said, I see us going up to market open, like we talked about, and above 900 level. 25, 900. Okay. I may go ahead and add that excuse me, add that contract back. It just depends here. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna roll that one back in. So I'm willing to accept about 200 per day. That's like that's what my number is. So we'll see what they do here. And they gave us what 850s here. So. So we still might be bullish, right? But we'll see here. I mean, they haven't really showed that much weakness yet, and ES is really strong. So let me write this down here really quick. Okay, so they might push up to that area, which is fine. Now, originally we wanted those 72s with the 92 wrist, so that's kind of where I'm, today, but that daily is really strong off that wick area and that 4 hour demand we talked about, so we shall see. It looks pretty strong. It looks like it's going to continue, so. 5 minutes are too strong. The volume's coming up in there, so I don't want to. Okay, so I just have to accept the risk on that. So let me pan over to this higher time frame so I can just kind of show what we were talking about before. Is we're looking for this daily demand to respect, which it did. We're looking for that 4 hour demand to respect, like it did, and then we're looking for the H1 to respect too. So I really wouldn't. I don't know if I'd want to take too many more shorts. I might, but I wanted to go above that market open. So we'll see. We'll be patient. 840, 845. So that's a transition in price. This one check. Straight. 845. Yeah, so we're still just kind of making our way up here. I'm going to be patient, like I said. I'm watching 15.5. I'm watching some of the other markets here too. ES is really strong. That 69.70 is blasted all the way up to 7,000. So that's a 30 handle move on ES already. And then we're at about a 78.6 retracement here, being at the 900 level for NQ. So beautiful blast off that original area we were talking about right before the market opened. ES is flying. So is YM. We're getting ready to push through those 550s. And then that overnight price is like around 700. So that's a pretty good area too. So, and QQQ looks really good. That 5 minutes starting to wick. I may attempt this area one more time. 24s. Now I want to get it in above that 900 if possible. Or as close as I can to like right under 900. But that 5 minute strength is still pretty good. So I'm going to attempt this area here with my risk. Oops. With my risk right here. Okay. Now, if this continues that 5 minute, I'd probably take one more, and it'd only be above market open, just because I want to see them extend through that 50 level. Yeah, the 25.950s. And I'm gonna mark that level. I don't have it marked. Oops. What a noob. 25,950. Okay. That 5 minute still looks strong, so that's not the greatest sign if this is gonna go short, but it seems still pretty strong. And then ES is showing a lot of strength at 7,000, so we'll see. Might be a little aggressive today. So we might have to wait for that, like I said, that 950, that market open area. Yeah. Well, just because I missed the buys, so it's a little early. The only other areas I would say is like above 950s. If this area doesn't play out at all, which I don't really see it that well because ES is still really strong, is above market open. So yeah, so like I'll accept that, and then I'll play like the only other area I'll play is above market open, or if they shoot to my target that I wanted last week, which was 26,000. That's like right above previous day high. I would anticipate buys to give back around that area. So we'll see. ES is flying though. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me write this down. freaking flying. That H115 is crazy bullish. We're pretty bullish here too, so. So we'll watch the 15 and 5s. I'm not really executing right now yet. And I'm gonna go beast mode. Yeah, ES is so strong, so it's gonna be good. Yeah, they're flying. ES is flying too. So I'll go a little bit lighter if I end up going short here. So I still like this high, guys. 94, so what would that be? That's like a 30 handle risk. 900 whole level. So we'll go here, and I'm gonna risk this here. Is that right? 64? Yeah, that's right. And I'm gonna save my room for that market open area. What's ES on? Damn, ES is closing above 7,000 though. It's not a good sign. If they close this candle above 900s, it's pretty strong still. Let's see the close. There's just so many things going off. I gotta figure out how to turn these alerts off. Now, if this does go ahead and find what we're looking for back down, I would say back below those 820s would be pretty good. Back to 800s, but that 5-minute is still relatively strong to me. So let's see if I might add into this, and we'll see. I do like the pullback area, so I'm gonna add one more time, and then I'll go ahead and move this wrist to here. Okay. So if this works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But this area, I'm looking forward to come back below potentially if this 5-minute closes weak here at the 900 level. If it doesn't and goes higher, that'll probably be the last one for futures for me because I don't want to go past my own personal number for the day. Just gotta keep it light. And we did get, excuse me, we just got that 9 a.m. close. So 4-hour candle was explosive, 1-hour candle was super explosive. And then our daily bias is still playing out to go strong. So it's kind of like, you know, so we'll see. That 5-minute is still printing really strong right here. It's not really printing a bearish candle yet. So everything's very explosive right now. This is really pushing today. Very explosive. They're closing above that 900. That's a pretty good sign of strength right there. So just gotta be patient. Yeah, we'll see. we can roll back to 850s. I'll at least cover this part of the position, and if it doesn't, then like I said, I probably would be good on futures just because I should have waited probably a little bit higher. But ES is respecting that in the 7,000 level pretty well. So if we capitulate fast, that would be awesome. But I mean, we just got to see. Okay. Like I said, I'm looking for a capitulation back below 833s. And if we do get below that area fairly quickly, then I'll cover this position. And then I'm looking for them to attack New York low and then this low right here if they do go farther. All right, so if they go farther, I'm looking for like this area. What time is it? 9 a.m. So 5 minutes kind of testing off that demand, which is more of a sign of strength to me. Uh, so we'll see. This could definitely continue higher because I think we still have a little bit more room to run up to 950s, but we'll be patient here and see. Let me check where we're at for today as well. 244. So we break to the 50 level. I'll go ahead and cover half this position. I don't want to accept the whole thing or anything like that. So especially with the way it's testing inside this demand, I go ahead and do that right now. Right. So I'm just covering half the position, and then I'll accept that risk, but it just reduces the risk down when I do that. That's all it is. Right. They're kind of keeping it tight there, so we'll see. Yeah, that first one was kind of trash, I'll be honest. But this one might have a chance to break down just because of where ES and NQ are on the retracement. So I'm just looking for at least New York Open as a target if this does slide, and then we'll be able to manage throughout it potentially. The goal is that they don't come back and get the stop, the trailed risk that's in like a small profit there. That'd be great. But really would want to see potentially if this is going to work out, this area break down, right? So like they would actually close below this area here. And so this 5 minute close will kind of let us know. This first 15 minutes will let us know. But they're still strong. Like they're holding inside this demand. That's not a good sign to me. And then that YM trade hit the 550s and rejected. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do there. still looks pretty bullish. So we'll have to just be patient. Unless that 5 minute gets weak, so because that 5 minute demand is still holding here between 850s and 870s. Yeah, on this one, the other one was trash. It's really not that great, to be honest. I really needed to have the 924s and then have entry at 900, so it's kind of like eh. And they're still holding the demand here pretty strong, so. Those 550s delivered nice today on US or YM, excuse me, so US 30. So they're still holding that demand. That's why I have that risk like that. And so now that knocked us down to one contract. So I would say if they close above 900s anymore, then this 5 minute demand holds, and they're gonna push it up to 950s. So if you're in buy positions or anything like that. Yeah, that's nice. I think I was talking too much through my buy, unfortunately. But if we can get these sales back down to well, it's kind of holding this demand, like I said. If we can get the sales back down to, I'd say below 800s, that'd be great. Um, and then back to New York Open, that'd be pretty cool too. So what was that 893s to? I'd probably accept that for today with the loss that I had. Yeah, it's showing quite a excuse me, quite a bit of resistance here at the 7,000 level. I just want to bring that over while we have a chance here, really quick. So looking at that 7,000 level, looking at that retracement too as well, right? You're seeing a pretty good retracement at the right level. Now YM, like we said, came up into those 550s and just rejected. So the only thing I don't like about NQ right now is just that 5 minute demand is holding so well. Um, so unless like this area here, so unless they can go lower and not hold this area, then they're gonna continue that price higher. So it just kind of depends on that 5 minute what they want to do. So to me, as like I said, if they start to close, anything below here, like this area starts to fail the 850s, then price should slide back potentially to the 800s. we'll keep watching that area here while I watch the higher time frames. Looks pretty strong though, can't lie. So now by reducing that risk, that's still for my personal game, I'm still available to take something above 950s if it does rally and above 26,000 whole level. But it really depends on your game. I'd say the first trade I took was kind of trash though, because that 5 minute demand is definitely holding right now. So it just is what it is. Looks pretty strong. ES isn't really falling over. YM's the only one that's really fallen over. So now they're still holding this 5 in area way too strong for me personally. Um, but I'm just gonna accept the risk here. Top of the week. Strong right there, strong. Looking at ES, I mean it's showing a little bit of weakness, but we just still have some room. I think we could possibly move here. That puts me at what, two for this? 400 per day is the goal. So we shall see. That's a close above the 5 minute close above 900 is a sign of strength there for 910 to 915. So doesn't look as great. I'm finna go be small. Yeah, the way price is stacking is still showing lots of strength. Yeah, I'd say that wick on YMT looks very dangerous, like to the downside. The way people bought that up was really fast too. So 5 minutes really bullish here, y'all, with that sign of strength close. So if they don't just blast it up, then I'd be surprised. Unless people are buying in the wrong spot. Let me see what Top Step's doing. Oh, they're not really posting anything over there. And if you're long anywhere up here, it's not saying it's bad. It's just you're stacking at the high end of the range, so the likelihood of it wiping that type of trade is very high. Just being honest. All right, so anything at the high end is going to be um, like if you're not buying in a discount, then it's just. But not saying it won't work just because we do have higher pricing, but and it is stacking pretty well, higher high, higher low, higher high. But we'll see what they do. Yeah, showing a lot of rejection at that 7,000 level. So I probably if I this was my first trade, I would be adding into this possibly, but I had lost that first one, so I gotta accept it. That 5 minute is stacking. Yeah, still kind of under that 7,000, but we look strong here on NQ. Check the notes here. Pretty strong, good stack there. Now, if you did buy something in here, I would say as soon as if it does cross through like my risk and through the high of day, I would start to trail that up, right? Like 866, I think someone said in the chat. If you have the 866 buys, as soon as it crosses higher here on a 5 minute, I would start to track that off for sure. Because I'm going to be willing to, like I said, still sell above 950s if it gets there, above market open. With that 5 minute body close right there just kind of shows me that they would like to take it higher, most likely. So risk placement could be at the 924s, but it is what it is. I'm gonna be sad I missed the New York part. If this 5 minute closes above 900s, if it doesn't, yeah, if it closes bullish or anything, it's gonna go higher. Unless it should, I mean, if it takes the risk, it would do it in this 5 minute candle, I would think. But if it slides down here and closes below 900s, that's gonna be very interesting for anybody that bought above 850. Are they already out on the US 30? Okay. Nice, 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 nice. Delta's pretty strong too. It looks really strong. Yeah. ES still right at that 7,000 level, but we're printing above whole level here, so that's more signs to market open to me now. Take some notes here really quick. So like I said, we push higher here, fine. I'm gonna look for one other setup, which would be above market open or above 950s. So, but if we do roll over, I'm just looking for a green day since I took that loss to start. Yeah, it looks pretty strong right there. So cool, that one's out. So that 5 minute demand did hold. So if you did buy those 866, I just who said that? Yeah, the 866, I would be trailing it just because this climb up only has so much farther it can go. I believe is like which is that market open or I mean they could go previous day high. Let me look at that really quick on here. So they could go previous day high from that demand bounce, which would be awesome. But I don't have the unfortunately I don't have the New York buy on the futures. And I'll be always no. And they've wanted. I feel like they've wanted that 26,000 level now for like we've wanted it for what? How many days? They came so close last week to 26,000. But anything above market open, I would say on those buys, if you bought inside that little demand tap right here, anything above market open is going to be a pretty good setup. So you have a down candle on the uptrending market. You know, if you're in the 86s, I would say you could probably cover this area here. Yeah, yeah, I'm getting tore up today though, Alvin. So just trying to be patient. Okay, so let's look here really quick. That way we can see here really quick. So those are the areas that we've taken so far. Oh snap! I want to go back. Oops, sorry. Let me go back to here. Right monitor. Or we'll see. I'm not really looking at anything yet. So we're still under our number for the day, I believe. 292, somewhere in there. Like three. So just gotta be patient. 933s. That's pretty far. Alright, maybe watch. I'm watching my other middle screen. Sorry, guys. ES still showing a little bit of resistance at 7,000, so High is 933, so that'd be about a 15 handle risk. 23 13s. Just being patient. I'm not taking a setup right yet. I'm just kind of like looking at this area. I really would like them to extend up to market open though. What time is it? So I may attempt those 13s here in just a second. Let me look at this 5 minute and 15 here. But I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. Five minutes are still strong, so I'm gonna take a few notes here. Okay. And we are moving into that 1 hour supply here, being in that 25,920s. So let's see here what we get. So if we pop, I was gonna take it right in there. If we pop back up, I may take this and put my risk right here, guys, to the 927s. But I was hesitating right there, so I just feel the rollover coming here at some point. We'll see how they react here. That 5 minute demand is still, the 15 looks good to fall. I just gotta look at ES really quick. What's that? 927s? Yeah, that's 27s. Okay. I'd like it to at least pop up to like 17. So I may be looking to short here with the risk at 27s, but let's see. Yep, I'm gonna risk here with the risk at 27s. And then target on this is gonna be the 833s if it can fall, and then obviously the whole level, and then New York. So back to the support resistance area, 762s. Hesitated a little bit. We should have took it a little bit higher in the 17s, but we'll see. 5 minutes not looking the greatest here, to be honest. Let me take a look at ES. ES looks good at 7,000 now. That's the one. I mean, it's a good retracement too. So just gotta be patient here. Now the timing of the trade I don't really like either, being at like 9:30, but it's just the location of where it was. Just made a lot more sense. I don't like that they gave me 905s. Now this 5 minute demand, like we had seen this one respected, I just think that it respects once, but the second time I think they destroy buyers because like I see this a lot of times and then they just destroy back below this low here. So we're kind of like my focus is like what happens when they get here, right? So if they can get there, then I'll just cover the full position based on the day that I've had so far. But if they don't, then I just accept the risk. So okay, just being patient here. I like the rejection at 7,000 on ES too. So if you wanted to, you could go ahead and just add one here. With it being a losing day, I'll probably go ahead and do at least that, just to reduce the risk, because I can always add into it and to protect myself here. People are like, why did you short 3 times? Because I missed my New York buy. Now, if they respect this area, then like I said, they probably climb the market open. Um, 5 minute close was weak there. Let's see if they reach up or not. Kind of starting to see some volume pick up there. So that's why I'm glad I just went and protected at least half the order just in case. And they can reach back above 900s, they're probably going to do it. Um, but we'll see. So it comes back up a little bit right there. So I'm going to be patient because those demands are holding pretty strong, but they're just at the high level. She held 50%. Oh, okay. I was like, what is he talking about? Me personally, I just wouldn't want to buy in an area like this high. Like anything above 850, I'm not buying that personally. If I would have had 25,907, I'd probably accept the risk with 2 contracts. But just because I was down to 905, I'm just gonna accept what I have. Because when we're looking at the day that we're at, like I said, my risk on the accounts per day is 400. We're at 290, so we slide 150 handles here, be back to a green day, and uh, that'd be great. Now 5 minute can get weak, and we're looking at right break below that area. Then I would say there's a good chance that this range will break back down into the 762s or below 800s, but you'd want to see a 5 minute candle closing below 870s. Oh my god. YM's really strong off New York Open, off the 450s. So price is still holding up pretty strong here inside this 5-minute demand. ES isn't looking that weak right now at 7. I mean, it's still below 7,000, but it's just not. I need to see like a 15-minute close below those 995s if it's gonna fall over. That's on ES. So on here, I'm looking for like 870s or 880s and lower on a 5-minute body close here in about a minute. They're holding it though. I'm just gonna take a screenshot of my other window here really quick. Okay, so that 5-minute not breaking down here at this close, going into the last 15 minutes of the hour is kind of showing me that they may want to reach up to 950s. But we shall see. Alright, and that 5-minute body just slightly closed over whole level, so either they're going to wipe the people buying way too high above 850s, or this is just a bullish continuation with no news. Not really seeing any weakness here at 900s on the 5-minute, so 15-minute closes in what, 3 minutes? Yeah, so if that 5 minutes not printing bears below, I would say 880s, 870s, then they'll hold that 850 demand. But I just feel like people bought way too high on that situation. So like line graph wise, if it's gonna get weak, what I'm looking for is for price to go below this level here. So the 870, what is it, 876s. If it can get below there and bodies start to close, then I think they get all the trailing risk and they get all the late buyers that bought in a premium. yeah, it's starting to find some weakness there at 69.96. So this 5 minute might start to break down. And so, like I said, anybody buying above 850s is kind of like very risky because you're basically buying inside of a premium. Like I'm willing to accept the risk right now because I'm not close to my actual personal DLL today. But if you're not, then you would want to put risk like right in here, or I would put it right here at the 908s. Look at Dow here. Wow, Dow is starting to fly. Are y'all still holding those? Tell you those buys. It's super strong. Guess we finna go beast mode. Okay, so let's see if they're gonna push through those 830s and then back down to 800 level. All right. Potentially. I mean, I'm taking another screenshot here really fast on my 15.5 window. Are y'all in any trades right now? Like, have y'all taken anything today? Now, depending on where this body closes, right? If this 5 minute body closes lower than this 875 level, right? And it looks like we're gonna make our way down to the 834s, and not hold inside this candle here, then I'll probably trail risk to ride in profit. That way, it leaves me available to take another setup if I want to later, if I need to. But they are kind of holding this level, right? So they've wiped the people that bought, I think, like way too late. And so now my eyes and focus will go here to where people attempted this area earlier, to see if they're just ripping those people's stop losses and if they're going to run back up. Okay, and so the way that looks right there, that looks like that's what they want to do. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is protect this trade just in case. Oops. And then that way I'm willing to play again at a higher level. But that's in case they bounce. Because I'd want to play above, I want to play above market open at 950 if possible. So. And ES isn't looking that weak right now, and then you have YM making new highs and reaching for 49,600s. So the overall market is very strong. Basically, that's just the best way to put it. this 5 minute candle closes bullish inside this area, the likelihood of them continuing is a lot stronger, just because they're not rolling over inside that area. So that YM's going crazy right now. That wick down was insane. Okay, so just be patient here. All right, they're still testing in that area. Still pretty good. I mean, they're not really like breaking down or anything. ES is kind of showing some strength off the 95s over there, so it's just really depending on what they want to do. Still early in the day too. 5 minutes still. I mean, 1 minute still respecting like the bullish structure. So the real question for me right now is like on 15.5, are people buying at the highs? And are they gonna just wipe them first to like 800 level, or they're gonna hold this demand area that they've set? I've got to figure out how to turn those off because those are freaking me out when they go off that loud. Looks pretty steady right there. They close above 900s again. Obviously, they're gonna go higher. So. Bulls are strong here. ES starting to find volume as well in those 95s. So they like I said, they could push it up to that next POI. That's why I'm protected here, just in case. Looks really strong. They're closing above 900s now, so likelihood of them going to 950s and market opens a lot stronger. Just depends here. And ES is making 5 minute, 15 minute new highs, so they probably they come back for that break even. So my thing is here on this is a very high end buy, and anything up here is still very risky to me. because I do want to see if they can reach up to those 950s. ES is making new highs. Let me write some notes really quick. An NQ structure holding. ES still finding strength here. I think we've slowed down a little bit on NQ, but with that 5 minute shift in price delivery, 950 to 955. So like right here, that was like a sign of strength to me. That's why I went ahead and covered that area. Sheesh, YM is performing today. Okay, let me lock in here. Now, if I take a short in the area like this, my risk would actually become this 5 minute high. So it just depends. I need to be paying attention here. Sorry, y'all. Because I like the 15 minute location if it is going to be a short. So what's that high right here? 16s. So anything 06s would be like a. Scroll in a little bit on that so you can see it a little better. Okay. And then what did I say this was? 16s. So might fit one in here. Just looking here. Still looking pretty bullish there on the 1 minute and 5. So ES climbing up to supply too. So just being patient. ES H1 15 and 5 very strong still, so that's why I'm being patient here. Go diamond. That 15's exploding higher up to market open 7,007 on ES. And so I would anticipate that. That's why I'm going to wait here until we can get to that POI potentially, because that 5 minutes holding really nice. And then looking at YM, I mean, we might go to the open was like 49,720. So they may push everything back to opens today, which would be A Monday with no news. This is essentially what you're looking for that bullish area. I just had missed my bullish setup, unfortunately. 23.13. Okay, I'm just trying to see. 20 handle risk to the actual high of day is anything above 13s. So okay, so right in here. I'm gonna take that, guys. I'm gonna put my risk right here. All right. So if this can fall fairly quickly, like I said, I'm looking for those 834s, even more. Then I'd be looking for like 800s. Um, so we shall see here. Now, if it stacks again inside that 15 and 5 demand at 900s, then it goes higher. It just is what it is. '17s, and I need to do 27s is my risk. So I want a 20. I'm giving a 20 handle risk on that. So 07s, and then the risk is 27. Now that could stack though. It looks pretty stackable on the 15, unfortunately. What level is that? 909s. I'm looking for something I can build like maybe 2 more contracts into, but I mean this is still stacking off that demand. Let me check volume really quick. Yeah, let me take some notes really quick. That's not gonna be a good one, I don't think. That 15-minute demand, let me just veer over to that really quick so you guys can see it. Middle screen. So when you look at this area here, I mean that 15-minute is starting to set, unfortunately. So it's just like that area is it could be very tight on how they do it. Just because like this, essentially, I'll just kind of show, could turn into another stair step for this. To continue up to 25,950s and then above high of day, which would be the 555. So we'll see. I mean, we'll watch it from here. Like I sometimes have to see it from the 15.5 to see it a little bit better. But a 20 handle risk isn't bad. We'll see. That first trade was just not a good one. It was just in a bad area. So they're stacking. It seems like when I look at it like this. ES isn't showing any weakness. Give me 1 second, guys. Uh, 5 minutes are super strong. Terrible location right there. I'm still inside my math though, so I'll accept the risk no matter what. ES is really strong too. 15.5. H1. They're reaching already for that. Keep it tight. And then we'll go back to execution window. Just kind of wanted to show like this is what I'm looking at on a 15, seeing how if they're gonna hold that like area and just extend, or the 5 minutes closing like this is just kind of like the area that shows me that they want to go and continue. So we'll be patient and see. And then what time is it? 10:04. structure is remaining bullish right now inside that 15-minute demand at high end. So um, any more 5-minute strength, like a 1-minute demand strength, like off of this level, then it just continues up to 950s. So they're just stacking each candle, right? Higher high, higher low, stacking. So we'll see if noobs are buying tops and then getting stuck, or if they're just going to reward this the bullish continuation here. It looks strong still. I don't want to be sitting here second half of the day today. That 15 looks really good. So if they continue through, like I said, I'll probably wait until they deliver POI. Because ES is exploding right now. 10:06. Let's write that down. 10:05. 10:10. Right, and so we're not showing any weakness here on our 5-minute. This is terrible. That 15 just looks too set to go higher. How much longer does a 5-minute have? ES really strong, starting to push for that market open. So the likelihood of this playing out to the sell side is tremendously down. So we come for this area. Like I said, I'll probably wait for a little bit, some kind of rejection at market open, or something above previous day highs, because 26,000 is way too close now. Fifteen and 5, obviously 1 minute here too, but you guys can see it's still strong. So yeah, they look strong. ES isn't showing any weakness. Boom. So it pushed through. So obviously, guys, that high end level worked. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, not saying it wouldn't work. Um, but where I'm gonna look just for the last setup for me today will be in here. So as we go higher, if we start to show weakness inside that market open or anywhere higher, I know at some point in time today, during my session window at least, if it happens between the next hour, that this high end area, if they do go short or start to sell off after a break of structure, then these will be good areas. So I just have to be patient and wait. And then while we have a chance, just really quick, I just want to look at this. Is the ES price, right? So we looked at NQ to reach up, and now we're inside supply. So those are obviously a little bit too early anyway. But anything above market open or above 950s inside supply, if it shows specific signals on 15.5, then I'll probably look to potentially take something in there. But the likelihood of them going for last week's high, Friday's high, and then 26,000 whole level is a lot higher. And so it just is what it is. It's bullish. I think I'm still sad from missing out on my buy from Friday, which was a crazy buy. Now ES, if you're playing ES as well, I'd say anything above market open here, 7,007, and then the high of day is 7,008. After that point, you gotta think individuals who are long on ES are up 30 handles to the whole level, and then 40 handles to anything above 710. So we shall see. So, and then we'll go back to here because this is where I really want to focus on the rest of the price for today. And then this was a scratch, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this as scratch. Now I'm gonna move these since we're looking at these because I have them on recording, so I'll be able to see them. But I'm gonna continue to watch this area here as we go into the close here at 11:15. I'll let you guys know though if I personally decide I want to short something, because like I said, this is an area where I'm still looking for orders. But 5 minute looks still pretty strong, so I'm gonna be patient here. He's hit the purple line, yeah. Yeah, and Javier, I probably would have took that buy too at the 730s, but it was just pre-New York, so that bullish continuation type setup was not really like my type of setup. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking for. We're just looking for the previous day high could happen, but it doesn't always happen. So it's like you kind of look at like a fib retracement of this area and anywhere above market open. So selling above market open would be pretty good, but that's in bearish conditions. And so like right now we're in extreme bullish conditions, right? And we're holding a massive demand candles even from last week. And so as we continue to go, I would think if anything above last week's high, so even higher. So we're basically the level that we've looked for like last week, we wanted the 26,000 whole level. So anything at 26,000 at this point would be like the specific level I'd be looking for, unless they start to show the failure here at the market open. Because you got ES still climbing here, 10:15. So. And then we do consider this as like a fast up candle through the area. So I'm just kind of watching this area here. Yeah, it's just kind of like Friday. I just wish I had to buy. I don't really have to be doing anything right now. But that first 5 minute candle, as you guys can see, was 100 handles. So I mean, it's just having to be patient now. And then QQQ is very strong. The gap down on QQQ was crazy. Golly. And then I just want to pan over to this too really quick because our higher time frame bias is really what matters the most. And so we got the demand respect off daily. We got the demand respect we talked about inside that 650 to 750 level, and then overnight price had fell 300 handles, and then obviously you're just seeing short covering going into the start of today. So these are the days that I love. This is why I love Mondays. Because if there's no news, then you're most likely you're gonna get a price action day like today. But it just didn't go into my favor. Um, it didn't show me the signal for me to personally buy it at New York. So the buys, like I said, if you bought like after price started closing in here, you would have had to accept risk, um, like somewhere in the 30 to 40 handles, and I mean they would have probably come back for those individuals right here and then continued higher. So now that we've made, let's see here, new high on day, it's all fair game now. All right, so they've taken that high of day, so. ES still showing no weakness on a 15 or 5 or H1, so. Okay, so me personally, like I said, I like areas like this, so we'll go back to execution window here. And then 960s. So 10 handle risk to the actual swing high. But look how those highs are equal, so I just don't like them like that. But they have delivered a new high on day, so I'm going to keep focused on this 15 and 5 here, and then if we see something, then cool. Now, like I said, you could be looking for buys if you want, personally, but I don't. I'm just not looking for them right now. I'd only want them in the discount area. Coming back to this area here. 60. Selling above market open. I like this last one I'm going to take, guys, on the sell side for me. The only thing I don't like is like how my risk has double tops right there, like a resistance. So just kind of looks more likely to go through it. But this would put me close to my personal DLL for me, not like top steps, but my personal DLL. But if this does, find some weakness here at the 950 level, I would anticipate that they take out these people that bought like somewhere in the 850s. And so we'll see. And we're right inside 1 hour supply at this moment in the 950s and with alignment with market open. So yeah, Javier, I was, like I said, I was just kind of jittery in the beginning, and so was I wanted those buys so I could just relax on a Monday. So we'll see if this is. I think the people that bought anything above 850s, uh, they have to be tighter on their risk than the people that bought anything below 830s. You know what I mean? So it's just the likelihood, but it's just how this 5 minute price comes back down on this area, and then as well, how we get back into the area here. So where I'm going to focus here is like my middle screen, because now that I've seen that price has come up, taken that high of day, and then when you look at a 1 hour, you're right inside a supply candle. It's either it's going to come back into the demand and reaccumulate to continue higher to 26, or this area is going to kind of get weak, reach below these levels here, right, back inside the expansion, and then we were able to play this a little bit better. So let me focus here on this. Sometimes when I talk too much, that's when I miss out on my executions. That 5 minute still holding. So on this one, what I'm going to do is just keep it tight still, right? Because I still have room to work today. All right, so if I have that, 947s, 946, so at least I reduce this down. I'm still available to still take, like I said, above those previous highs today. If I want to, I mean, it just depends. I think I've shot more times today than I have in one day than the whole last year of 2025. But we got light volume on, so it's okay. Yes, it's showing a slight bit of rejection inside the same type of area, but you'd want to see it start to, like 5 minute really start to get weak, and that 1 minute still holding. So let's see how this 5 minute closes, and then how the next candle, like the 10:30 time, is going to be really key. So I'm watching the 30 minute candle as well. Okay, so let's see. If things start moving fast, we'll start trailing risk fast. Because we want to secure a green day at least. That'd be amazing. Trying to make sure you guys can kind of see it. Me personally, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of slide this right on top of that 5 minute area. Okay, so right on top of that 5 minute wick. If price was coming higher, so sorry, excuse me, right at market open, the point of interest. So 96 50s, or excuse me, 90 46 50s. Sorry. Exactly, Javier. I want to see market open fail because it's a Monday. So pushing price up to a market open, what that essentially means on a higher time frame NQ is that the weekly might start getting weak, but the price action to me on the weekly, daily, 4 hour looks strong. But it's just people buying in the wrong spots, potentially, from what I'm expecting. Yeah, anything 25.8 would be nice. Anything below that 840 would be, where that blue circle is, would be great, really great. YM still really strong, so you know. Now I'm gonna go ahead on this. Um, we'll see where this candle closes. Just waiting for this 5 minute to close here. And let me take a screenshot of my middle screen just so I remember what this looked like. I'll hurry, sorry guys. Alright, they're still pretty strong here, right? See if they can make another break lower here. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and use, with this 5 minute about to close, I'm going to use that 5 minute high now as my risk, okay? On the trailer, and then I'll show you guys how I'm going to manage the other part of this if we do start to break down. But that 5 minute is not really showing me inside that imbalance that it wants to go lower yet, but we'll see how this candle closes. But that's starting to kind of want to shoot up, so what I'll probably do at this 5 minute close, if it closes bearish and that 1 minute still showing me like that, I'll probably go ahead and move my other risk to break even too, just so I'll stay available. 5 minute closed. Look at the other screen. I'll keep it just like this. I'll keep it like this. So. See if we can get a rollover here. I just don't like the highs on the 1 minute there. They're double tops at the 960s, so that's the only thing I don't like. Let me come back to here and see. Just gotta be patient though. That 1 minute price is still building. So they took one of those contracts. So this will be the last one that I'll leave on the sell side for today, because I probably don't even want to play personally above previous day highs today. Because I would think that they're going to just rally at that point. They're going to take previous day highs and the 26,000 level. And I'll just have to accept the fact that I missed the buy from demand. YM still really strong above 46 or 49.6. ES isn't showing any weakness, so it's kind of one of those situations. ES is showing a little bit of weakness on the at the market open, so we'll see if these 950s can hold and see if we roll over slightly. Just can't really tell yet until we get some more structure. It looks pretty good. Let me check volume too. It's just a way better location than the obviously those noob trades. I took it first. I know, man. So I'm like, dude, just drop so I can at least get a green day out of this. It's just holding up there though. That 5 minute imbalance is still holding really strong, and the volume's pretty strong. So I'm just trying to be patient. I think they know everybody wants the 26,000 level too. It's just like, and they haven't delivered it, and it's like they've tried it, and that's why I thought today they would do it, but they keep becoming range bound essentially. So I wanted to stay 2 contracts deep across all of them, but I just have to make sure and stick with my math today. So let's see how this 5 minute closes here. And then this last, if the 5 minute closes bearish here, good signs. If it doesn't, and this 1 minute starts to stack, then I think they go ahead and take the previous day high in 26,000 whole level. That 1 minute stacking. Do this really quick, but we'll see. Take some notes here. Yes, 15 and 5 still looks pretty strong. They keep printing above the market open, then that's a sign of strength. And same thing here. If we start to print above market, then that's more likely than they go for the next POI. That 5 minute just closed as a bullish candle with 1 minute mitigation or 1 minute bullish structure. So it's not looking likely, especially with ES right now. What time is it? Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to sit here past 12 today, but 5 minutes are still staying really strong. Every close, even on like a 1 minute above market open, is a sign of strength. So if we can see the like the mitigation, like formation type of rejection here, back below 935, 930s, that's a good sign that we could go get those 850s. It looks really strong. Nice test off that little 1 minute demand inside a 5 minute location. Nah. And then the highs on the market, the 960s, just look like a double top, unfortunately. Yeah, starting to find some strength here. I gotta take some notes. Yeah, starting to find hella volume on five. Okay, 835s. I'm just so sad I didn't have that buy. Yes, looking pretty strong above market. It does have more room inside their supply to go above 710 or 7,010. So yeah, way more extended. I feel like on NQ and in 50% of the supply candles. So just the 5 minute bodies are just if this closes here above market, then it's like the likelihood is just not very high that it's gonna not go higher. But let's see. So let's see how this 5 minute closes. If this 5 minute can close below 940s, 935s, that's a good sign. If it closes bearish here, that we could see a slight retracement back into the initial balance here. The bearish close, but you want to see like actual candles closing below where they've kind of tested right here. So like closing below 940s on a 5 minute body. Like so below these bodies. If not, they're gonna hold the area and they just extend higher. So we'll see. That 1 minute demand is holding really nice. Yeah, still finding strength. They're probably gonna pop it. I'm sad if they delivered 26,000 today. I mean, we got so close Friday, and then we had a chance to get it on what was that day that we almost had it on Wednesday last week we almost had it. Like I thought we came in 2 points of it, and I was like, man, we had to trail our risk up to secure the bag, but we were so close to delivering 26 that day. Now, if I didn't take those two noob trades, these are situations when I start seeing certain signals that I roll into the trade with more volume. But like I said today, with those two mistakes that I made, if the trade gods want to work in my favor here on this one, then I will just look to secure at least a green day because I know we still got a lot left this week. So getting below the 850s would be a 100 handle move to the downside, and then getting below that first blue like circle I have right there would be a little bit obviously over 100 points. So 800 level would be a 150 point drop from here. And so based on my math, we'll look at my P&L for the day, but I think that would put me back at least green for the day. So I'm in a position where I don't need to secure, like for Top Step at least, I don't need to secure any more 150 days for a payout for this week. So I'm just really looking to stack green days potentially until Friday and not like risk, over my own personal DLL. But we'll see where we're at by 11:15. My goal is to only stream from 8:30 a.m. to like 11:15. So we'll just have to decide where we're at from there, if price is in our favor or not. Looking over at the others really quick, I mean, YM is on a scream, right? From we talked about 45 250s. This going back up to daily open almost, which is 49 720s. So we shall see. It's a good 5 minute candle close from 40 to 45 right there, away from the point of interest, inside higher time frame supply. So they may want to come for those 850s a little bit lower. We'll see. It really depends on how they get at the 900 level as well. So like once they get below, um, do I have arrows? Where's the arrow? I don't know. I haven't. That's the one thing I don't remember where it's at on here on this one. Okay, cool. There's the arrow. So once it gets, you guys see those double bottoms right there. They're kind of like hard to see, but they're definitely right there inside that demand at 900s. So if they do extend down, then I would anticipate them to, I'd probably cover even this position, even though it's one contract. because they could just hold support again and then continue higher throughout those highs. And so if you wanted to be break even now, you could too. But I just don't plan to trade past 11:15 today. It's just like whatever happens at that time is what I'm gonna get, pretty much. If you wanted to, you could reduce your risk down to here. Me personally, I'm just accepting this risk because it's one contract. So looking at ES right now, 1 hour 15 and 5. It's starting to find some more bullish price action again at market open, which is a sign that they may want to, like, we could be lagging here and that they want to do the same thing. So it's up to you on that. But by 11:15, like I said, if I just lost, I lost for the day. It just is what it is. Take some notes here really quick. 10, what time was that? 10:45 to 50. A lot of times by 10:45, price is going to make a decision. So like right now, this is where buyers are stepping in. It's going to extend up right now through the 26 or 25,986s and probably through the whole level. So it's just, this is kind of like the deciding factor moment, 10:45 usually, but it looks like it wants to hold. ES is making new highs on the 5 minute, or attempting to, in 15. So it's just right there inside that 1 hour supply. So I personally wouldn't want to be buying ES right now, or buying any of these, like buying right now, like NQ or anything. But I mean, that's just me personally. So okay, I'm just being patient here. They're still holding up pretty strong here. Let's see how this 5 minute candle closes here. That 15 demand, like I'm looking at a 5 and 1 where you guys can see, but the 15 demand was holding inside that 20 level. So that's really what we're starting to see, is the battle. But like I said, ES is really strong. So um, just the likelihood of the overall markets are really strong. And then YM has broken through the 49.7s. I mean, these things might run for those levels that we wanted. So just is what it is. 5 minute close there for 1050 was pretty bullish. So if it's gonna stack here, this is an area where I could definitely see it possibly stack and go higher if it, since this candle closed strong. But me personally, like I said, 'cause I have one con on still, I'll just accept the risk. Because based on the math, I should still be fine. But I just want to pan over to this. You guys know where the risk is, so I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm moving the risk or anything. But looking at this area here, if you can kind of see, it's respecting that 15-minute structure. And so without any weakness inside the imbalance, and you're seeing a sign of strength 5 minute candle at 1045, the likelihood of them reaching for the new high of day is just a lot higher. So I don't know. I may be willing to play that 26,000 whole level because so many people have waited on it, and that's why I said it. Just I've got to keep my math where it's at, and not I didn't add it into the contracts there or anything. But that shift in price delivery is already starting to kind of happen, and so just got to be patient. But ES is making new highs here as well. What time is it? 10:50. Okay. And so that's why I wanted to show you guys for that. And then the H1, we're inside an area where I wouldn't take a buy myself personally. Inside of like a supply area like this, I'm not gonna take a buy because what I'm anticipating is that like longs that did buy low are exiting. Okay, so let's focus over here really quick. Trying to see if the people who took the YM trades are exiting or not. Okay, they're not. They already exited. So that the price is probably gonna fly. If people have already exited, that's kind of like a sign to me that a lot of people, not everyone's exited yet. But I'm watching this area tight here. 15 and 5 is stacking, dude. What time is it? 10:50. They're gonna go deliver my 26. I'm so sad. 15 and 5 is really strong right now. They're probably gonna deliver through this area. $250 ticks. Oh, he's talking about ticks. I was like, I'm so used to trading in points. Okay, so looking at this, like I said, on like a smaller time frame, these are like double tops. So there's two signs of areas at the 960s. That's not a good sign to me that they're gonna hold it, but I'll give them till 11:15 today. See if I can get to previous day highs or 26,000 whole level to attempt. If I can get the risk that I want to. If I can't get the risk that I want, then I've got to accept what I lost today. That 49.7 was a really good target on that. We talked about that last night, me and Tay, on US 30 YM. And then let me take a screenshot of my bad guys of the higher time frames really quick. I'm gonna need that for the folder. So now that daily bar, if you guys really look, I just want to show this really quick too. The daily bar here, right? Look how that daily bar has turned so bullish off the demand, right? We've came into that 4-hour demand and just respected. So just a super bullish day. That's all it really is. I mean, super bulls are in. ES doesn't look like it's showing any weakness, and then it pushed through that level. So guys, I mean, for me, I'd say 2 noob trades. This one wasn't bad. This one was okay. It had the risk. So I'm gonna have to wait until we have. Yeah, bro, you got 200. Maybe. I don't know what they're talking about. Sorry. I was trying to read that at the same time. So, like I said, I am personally gonna wait here for the delivery of previous day highs to 26,000 whole level into 11:15 to potentially take one last setup of the day. But like I said, guys, they like to manipulate this area. Like they don't, like as they get closer to 26, they've been manipulative. So I'm at about 350 of loss on the day. So I've got about $50 left of risk. So I've got to be smart in how I do it. But 15.5 demands are holding really good. Price closing higher high, higher low, and then not going lower and breaking structure. So, and then this candle respected the imbalance. So we're just gonna have to wait. starting to see that push on ES and NQ. So that this push and then after is going to be very, I think, good to see. The one thing I will say too, I want to show this is the other higher time frame we talked about, which is weekly, daily, and like where we're currently at, like right now. If you look at that weekly, we respected the weekly demand as well, also the daily demand, and then that target. I don't know if you guys follow my Telegram or not. We've talked about this 26,100 level since here. I mean, since we fell from the 12th of December, as we started to buy back up, we tried to attack that level. We tried to attack that level last week, and then they started showing weakness. So we'll see. We'll see what they decide to do. But it's just more than likely now that the wicks are printing on weekly, daily like that, and then you got your 4-hour demand candle here staying really strong, and everything's very strong to previous day high. I would be looking for something in this area or a little bit higher, and that'll be like the last area for me today. But I'm looking for something I can roll into, right? Like I can like actually roll some sides into as well, because I've kept it pretty tight today so far. So. And it just seems like they still want, like if you guys are following QQQ as well, we talked about 627s to 628s, and then up above the daily or 4-hour target, like 630s. So they're all pretty explosive. This is what, like I said, this is what you like to see though with no news. It's a pretty explosive day. So. Now let's focus up though, because this is that transitional time of the day. So they know everybody wants that previous day high. They know everybody wants the 26,000 level. So let me be patient. Right there in that supply. This could be the sell point, guys. I might have to take a risk on a Monday. Let's see though. 1 5-minute sign of weakness. 1 minute mitigation somewhat. Only if I could get like a 20 handle risk to the highs, but doesn't look that great yet. ES is slowing down though, and it's inside supply, so. We push up to 59 possibly. I may attempt this just because this was our previous initial balance. But I need to see something more on that 5. Still looks really strong. All right, we're at 11 a.m. though, so let's see. ES looks pretty strong, 15 and 5 still. Nothing really here. Looks good. See if they can deliver through it. I'm watching a different window, so if you guys are here, let me move this. Sorry. So you guys can see. What a stack. I think 49.7 was a pretty good move. That was a really good part on the, and that ran up to the 4-hour supply candle as well, so that's a pretty good move. And we didn't have any CFD buys. Right. Unfortunately. That daily and 4-hour just super bullish. ES is finding strength here, 11.05, so. So we'll see if we get the area to deliver the previous day high, the 986s, by 11:15, or that 26,000 whole level. But if we don't, then I may just stay patient. Just have to, like I said, accept the fact that I missed the buys. My buddy said scalper's paradise. Yeah. I like to scalp on my personal account, but not a so much here on this. Okay, so make sure 5 minutes here is still really strong. So just kind of watching to see if they're gonna attempt to draw in some buyers at the highs here. Let me lock in here on this one too. So the 72s would be the risk, and I'm trying to look for a 20 handle risk. So this might be a little early as well. What's the top? 72. So 72 is the risk. And now what time is it right now? So either they roll or they rally, and so like that's my last attempt for the day, because essentially it's like 11:15. People, the buyers are tired of holding the longs, especially the higher they are, the more tired and they are and nervous. The ones down here are tired. The ones down here feel squeezed. So it's just like that's why I attempt to attack this area here as we get close to the highs, because also noobs buy tops and sell bottoms. So um, this is just my last attempt basically, and this is like from my personal DLL of the day. So. And then we should see if it's actually going to work in my favor. We would see it come back down and start to close below the bodies on the 5 minute, below the 930s. And if it's not going to work, then you'll just see it, come touch the point of interest or touch 50 level, half level, right? Respect this 5 minute demand like it did earlier, like this. And then you would see prices continue higher again. But I'm anticipating that buyers are buying way too high at this time of day, and then that we could get a slide, and if I'm wrong, then I just gotta accept it. So last attempt, and then we're looking for price to slide below those higher buyers at 850s. I tried my last. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, bro. Timing is everything to me. Like, I don't want to sit here past like Central Time Zone 11:15 a.m. So we got about 5 minutes before that, and it's just like a timing thing of, like I said, the individuals who bought this area here, which I consider late. Their stop losses here, here, and here are more likely for us to grab on a pullback, and then if they pull back, okay. So like, let me show it on this other window really quick, because we've got our stop set, so we're good. But like, essentially when you're looking at like a pullback from a Fibonacci retracement from the buy side of the day to the top right now, a 50%, like back to the 50% would be basically the 800 level. So anything below, if anything starts to show signs of weakness back down to 850s, that would be great. But it doesn't mean, because we're so bullish and we're not showing any signs of weakness on a 15 or 5 right now, that we won't just continue on through, right? But if we were to pull back, I would anticipate that people who bought at the higher end of the day to experience more. That's where I'd be targeting their risk. So that's what we'll look for here today, to see if we get that on 15.5. So if this 5 minute starts to break down, essentially with the timing of the day that it is right now, and we can reject like that area like this right here, then I think these two areas are a lot more likely. But I don't see any weakness on ES, unfortunately, either. And then looking at this volume profile, I'm not really seeing it either. So that might be it for me today. Yep, that just ran up. So that's it for me today. It's already, what, 11:11. Let me see what I was at for today. Salty. Yeah, because I hit my 4. So I've also noticed. Yeah, it's probably gonna sell off in the afternoon, but like since it's a new year, like I have other stuff that I would do throughout the day. So like for me personally, like it's not gonna probably deliver the sell until it gets above where like they take out the previous day highs now, or they hit the 26,000 level, because we tried it last Wednesday, and then we had to trail our risk up to 7 or 950s, and price basically came back, and then we were like, damn. And then on Friday, the long positions were amazing right, to the same thing, right? And then they came in, what was it, like 2 points, 998. They came in like 2 points of the actual setup. So I'll kind of review like the other assets here really quick too. Um, we'll see if they break through by 11:15 a.m. But yeah, I'm gonna probably have to accept the loss on that, unfortunately. I mean, Javier, I would probably look. I'd probably look. Like that one was risky too. I would probably look. It's still inside the initial, like this balance. Like we're above the initial balance area, so it's like the likelihood of them going for the previous day high at this point, closing above supplies, like on these 5 minute here, or here it's 15, like this, is more likely. Like the buyers aren't gonna give up until they get their limits. Most of their limits are probably sitting at that area. But if they start to see, 15 5 minute weakness, or like structure, let me move this here. If structure does start to break down, right, and like kind of go like that, then there's opportunities to play something like that and put your risk, and then still attack here. But they're just not. They're just bullish. It's just the best way to put it. They're just bullish, man. So we'll start the stream a little bit earlier tomorrow because I need to be able to have my mindset set. But let's focus still though, because like I said, I'm still $40 into where I still can risk. So I still like this area. I just might have to go. What's the risk for me on this? 77 to 60. So I'm still in the area if I was to play here. So with that draw, last attempt here, 15.5. ES showing a little bit of weakness. If I'm gonna attempt it, I have to attempt it here based on my math. So otherwise, I won't be able to attempt it. Yep, because anything above $65 would put me past my number for my personal DLL. So if they stack it here, I mean, you guys will probably get it in the second half of the day, because I won't be able to play the. I won't be able to play it, and plus I'm just salty because I missed the buy. So, and I don't have it on my personal CFD or anything either, so that's kind of like tragic. Yeah, it's just a super good old bullish day. And we marked out the buy side when we started, but it was just, I think I flipped from one camera to the other, and then I was just doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I don't want to give back too much either this week, because this week I plan to pay myself. So I need to have I need to have at least 3 solid days of my own personal take profits too. But those YM trades that they took in the chat were insane. They took those from, I think, like 250s up to 700 level, which is crazy. Now let's look at this. That 5 minute body did close higher, so that's a sign of strength. I mean, that's just not, 11:15, right? 15 minute candles closing higher still. I mean, let me go back to this pan over to this really quick. All right, so that 15 minute, the bodies are closing higher. The 5 minute, I mean, unless it was to get weak right here in a fast way, then they're just gonna stack. They're gonna keep stacking. But I just think that, like I said, people are gonna be buying at the highs, and this is just that timing type of trade. So if this one doesn't start to see, some sign of weakness back below 950 here fairly quickly, then that'll be it for me today. You're still in, Javier. Did you put your risk at the high of day? I just don't like the 5 minute, like when they're stacking like this. If it was the other way around, like this was like closing lower, great. But I do feel like there's lots of people that are stuck like right in here, right? Like in this type of area. So if they're trying to buy anywhere above here, it would be a lot better to see them come and take something like that, before they go higher, but they're not showing the signs that they want to do that yet. It's starting to kind of form here. If this candle on the 15 can, like, everything can start to play below it like that, in alignment with point of interest and the initial balance high of day, then that might actually work out. So we'll see. And then I'm just, if that falls, like I said, I'm looking for the same area we've looked for, which is like the 850s to 800 level to deliver. But if they can't deliver, then it's okay. And then let me just pan over to this really quick. Just want to show the YM trade was awesome because you had previous day high, you have the current day low, and you had a 78 halfway, like 88.6 retracement at a whole level. So that's a beautiful take profit type of area for that YM trade. And let me mark that daily open on that really quick. Daily open, what's today? Oh, market open. Okay. So really good there. And then we'll go back and look at NQ here in a second, but you can already see it starting to do its thing. And so let's see, let's see here. Okay, so let's go back to middle screen here. I'm still getting my controls down too. Once I have the controls down, it'll be a lot better too. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm still kind of getting familiar with all that again. And then, we want to see the execution window that we took the trade on. My bad. Okay. So let's see if we can roll. If it's really fast, I'm out of there, guys, because I want to be able to, even if I secure a small green day, I don't care. Yeah, my stop loss is where like your green light is. Green light. Oh, okay, you got it a little bit higher. Nice. Yeah, previous day high. I got you. I got to keep it tight, brother, because I made some mistakes, so. Get my little heater out, guys. It's cold today. It's crazy. I'm not really seeing the weakness right now. I mean, we'll see. ES is showing a little bit of weakness though at that market open inside the H1 supply, so we'll see. If 5-minute bodies can't close below this 55 level, then it's good. It just stacks. Yeah, it's starting to stack. The buyers are relentless though today. That's what it is. Alright, maybe I can watch that from over here. Very strong on the 5 here. ES, and I'm looking at ES too. That 5 minutes still holding demand at market open. So very difficult price here. Location would favor a little bit of a retracement, but in such a bullish market with no news, it's just you'd want to see more 5-minute structure breaking, if it, especially with here on NQ, if it was going to go lower. I just won't unfortunately be sitting here in the second half of the day today. Otherwise, I'd probably wait for that. But pretty strong right there, honestly. It looks really strong. The way that 5 minutes holding, and then they're not breaking lower on that 1 minute, the body candles here. It's just not. It's just bullish. Let's see though. I don't have the order flow pulled up. I need to pull that up and see how many orders are sitting at that previous day high. There's probably lots of orders sitting at that area, Javier, just to let you know. I just don't have my book maps up right now. Because they love to deliver that previous day high, and then the buyers will exit, right? They'll have like their buy limits up there, and then all of it will just kind of transition all at the same time, you know? So it just depends. So 1 minute left on this candle. Like I said, 11:15. If you haven't seen a break, like the structure break that we like to look for, it's less likely to happen. But let me check YM. ES isn't looking weak at all there. Now, if they, like I said, if they start to push fast here, we will look for like the same areas that we've talked about, right below this wick, 862s, and then 50s, and then I would say the 32s would be a great area. Now, if we start breaking 5 minute structure, I'll start to trail half of the volume of this, so I'll just move one to break even and accept the risk on the last contract if price moves in favor. And then, yeah, so that's what we're gonna watch and see what they do. Screen here just for a second. 440, so 400. I need to look for higher time frame. Now that same area, kind of like we talked about earlier, if they hold this high area like this, they're gonna, like the 950 half level, they're gonna continue. So. watching that. I'm watching 15.5 over here. ES is right there at market open on that 5 minute, still holding the demand at the high end. So either the buyers give up and pull their orders, or they win and they continue up through the previous day high. If this 5 minute can close below market open or like 950s, I'll probably move one just at, like right at the 960 level, like a little buy stop. That's if we close that way. If not, then I'm just accepting the risk. Matter of fact, what time is it? 11:30 almost. I will go ahead, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and put one there just to kind of keep it safe, like right there by the entry. Let's do it on the 1 minute. Sorry, 62. So I want it to be at 61, 61.25. Because that way it for sure covers the little fee that Top Step has. I don't know if you guys realize they have like a 74-cent fee or whatever every time you open up MNQ. So, and that just reduces this number down to a half, right? So if it does go higher, this actually is better for my personal DLLs for the day. Just kind of protecting myself. And so they did come up for that first one. So this is it for me, guys. Either they're gonna hold this area, or buyers are gonna just take this up to 26. That'll be the end of the day for you, boy. Look at the 5 minute. 5 minutes holding on ES. I want to show this just really quick. But see how that 5 minute area is holding? So with that area holding, it just makes it more than likely that we're gonna hold those 950s on NQ. And so that's the only thing I don't like. And that's why I reduced the risk on that one, just in case. I'm sure this week we'll get a chance to roll into a trade, like roll a few contracts into something. It's just didn't really get that opportunity today to do that. And then go back. Oops. Wrong one. Back to here. I almost want to add my contract back, so I still have the room, but I don't know if they're going to deliver those previous day highs or not before 12 noon here Central Time Zone. So what would that put me at? A $60 risk? 50, anything over 55 kind of puts me over the number that I need for the day. So It'd be like really risking it. Let's see. They're gonna move me to 60 level, so we'll see here. I'm willing to risk the biscuit, guys. I'm willing to go a little $8 over. If it does, if it goes previous day highs, it is what it is. But that volume is what I want, so we'll see where we're at here by 12. Take some notes here really quick. Yeah, it's just that it's about POI. Like as it's at market open, this is where it's gonna make the decision right here by lunchtime. Selling above market open if price ends up going bearish would be the a proper location because noobs will buy the top. They'll buy these highs, trying to push the highs out, and they're at the complete. Like I'll show you here, they're at the complete like random area of. They're basically in a premium, right? So like when you go from swing high to swing low, if you're buying above a 78.6 or an 88.6, that's pretty much a noob trade. So, I'm not saying it like I just haven't, jammed up my shit today, but you just don't want, essentially, I personally, the way we play it, we don't want to be buying in a premium like that above point of interest. It works out in our favor a lot more to anticipate the buyers that are up 100, 200 handles to start pulling their positions because their buy limits should be sitting, or their TPs should be sitting at the break of structure. Their TPs most likely were sitting at the high of day. So if people start exiting at a fast rate, you'll get the people who are going to get hurt the most are the people who bought after the 100 handle move from New York. And that's why we're targeting these lows, 850s, and then this level here. And then I'm going to keep it tight here. Since we're making structure breaks lower on that 1 minute, I'm going to go ahead and now I can reduce that risk since I was able to factor back in that contract. So let's see though, because you want to see 5-minute weakness, otherwise they're just going to push it really quickly off this 50 level. So did they move my entry down a little bit? Slightly they did. So and I'm gonna leave this actually right here. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. So if we slide back over to here, that'll probably be my day, so I can pull a green day and take some notes, etc. Yeah, it's a tough spot though because they haven't really intraday. You haven't broken any really true structure, so it's just kind of like it's got to like literally break like on a line graph. Essentially, you're looking for price to go below here to say a true break is in, and then that the noobs or not noobs. Let me stop saying that. Just the buyers that are at the highs will be they're squeezed here in a situation like this. So what I really really like, I'll kind of show this, is what I'm looking at here to my left, which is going to be ES. And ES, the buyers are up from 96, let's just say 69 up to 7. That's over, so let's just say 70. That's over 40 handles, right? And then what's happening is people are buying inside the high of supply, and people are trying to exit their buys, so they need someone to be buying this high so they can take on that their order, if that makes sense. Okay. Just topple over. Now that we're closing below those 950s, if we start to respect the market open, right, you could go ahead and cover half of your position, or if you've had the day you don't want to have, you could cover the whole thing, because this could be the area where they respect and just rally back up. So what I'm gonna do is leave it how I have it though here for today. I'm gonna move this one into profit though, because it'll change my if I don't, it'll change my what do you call it? It'll change my entry if I don't do that. So I'm gonna leave that one there. Just be patient here. Like I said, a 100 handle move from currently right now 950s down to 850s would be attacking those buyers that took positions around like 8:45 a.m. And so even if we just got below this wick here today, that would put me in a profit for the day, even with the losses, and I'll be out of here. So that'd be, I don't know. I don't want to get too excited at all because we haven't even got a 5-minute candle to break structure. So ES looks really good. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this because where the price location is really nice. Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just part of the game, man. I mean, this could turn on. It could turn right here on the 5-minute. You know, right at market open and continue higher. So just staying patient and taking it one day at a time. ES starting to show some weakness. I'm gonna kind of pan over there and show that really quick, so you guys can see that. Right, so see how it's starting to show the weakness inside the supply candle above market open, and then we're doing very similar here. It's either they're going to kind of fake out people and then continue higher, or they'll start to really show the true weakness. So like going back over here though now, they're holding that candle that we're looking for. All right, so if they hold this here, they're gonna rally and they'll take the 26 level. Okay. And sometimes on my personal, I'll buy into a position like that, but today I'm just focused on what happens here because I don't want to take more executions. I have to take more notes on other stuff. but they're not falling on ES right now like they were. So that 5 minutes holding, it's a good demand. Good 15-minute demand as well. So there's a shift in price delivery there at the 55s. I mean, they could easily still go the distance here and go higher. With them holding the market open like that on a 5 minute down candle like that, the likelihood of them going lower is super low now. And that keeps me at the 39. That keeps me under that 55 mark. Okay. Yeah. It's just one day of the 100. I mean, the next 3 days will probably be bangers, and then just gonna chill. Just make sure on your funded or even on your personal accounts, whatever it is, like as long as you have your own personal DLL. Like I never follow Top Steps DLL stuff. That's their stuff is meant for you to fail. Um, but as long as you have your own personal DLL, then you know what you're willing to risk per day, and you know what you're willing to like, or you know what you're most likely can make in a day. Then I like to like if I risk $400 to $500, I know I can make 2 times that, 3 times that amount usually in a day fairly quickly. So it's just like if that's what I'm willing to risk in a day. But yeah. That's a good thing to do, Javier. I mean, honestly, like I said, the way the 15 looks. Here, I'll go back to the middle screen just for a second because I'm not going to move the risk. The way the 15 looks here, it looks more than likely to it's holding, right? So like if we take this level from earlier and we start to show the stack, it's holding that 15-minute area inside that 5 minute area that we have marked on Top Step, and so there's nothing that's showing us bearishness currently right now. That's all it is. And so that's why I had moved that one once I was able to factor that contract back then. That's why I moved that one back to break even, so that if worst case how it works on futures in my eyes, right, is that you can like say if you keep your stop loss in the same placement and then price does start to break down, then you can always add the contract back if you want to, and keep your stop loss placement. And so we just haven't had a situation where I could build my other 2 contracts because I'm trying to build into like 4, but it's just the fact of this is a bullish market, so we'll continue to watch this, but I'll probably watch till like 12. If they push through this area, then I guess that's it for me today. And I need to leave it at this amount for right now. Shift in price delivery right there. I think what window are we on? Okay. That shift in price delivery 1140, 1145, that's a sign outside of the demand, that's a sign of strength. So that's probably going to push. But I'm not saying to like go in here and buy at the high or anything like that, unless you were deciding to like frame that 15 and 5 move. Like if you were wanting to frame like your entry was down in here and your risk was like here, that probably works out because you got you're looking at like how we like to play a 20 handle risk into the demand, and then you're looking for price to continue higher. Great. So like buying it like right here and then trying to push it, I personally wouldn't do that. Or like trying to buy it and put your risk here. It just depends on what type of setups you're looking for. But that's gonna be my personal DLL for the day if we slip through these highs. Yeah, I trade funded back to always. you, bro. I started off trading only personal capital, so it's always about a specific percentage and number. Because if you went off percentages on TS, it would have to be on what your balance is, you know. And so I personally am not gonna risk like my balances. I'm not gonna risk 1% of my balances, but I'll risk 1/4 of 1% of my balances. So, um, yeah, pretty much. There's 980s or more than the previous day high. It just looks too good right now. Now my personal today, I may come back in here if the alerts go off at 26, and when the buyers decide to exit, I may come in and sell that. But for TS, I just have to accept that I made mistakes. So yeah, it's just stacking on 15.5 here. Let me take some notes too really quick. We did get this shift in price delivery. 15 minutes. What time was that? 11:45. That's the time we got done. Is Javier is funding pips like a CFD, or is that still futures? And ES is 5 minutes extending too, so they're gonna push it. YM's finding strength too, so just a bullish day. Guys, the Eagles and the Packers lost. I'm supposed to be winning today. What is going on? I believe it's CFD. I can hold trades over the weekend. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. Do you use FTMO and stuff as well? Because I know FTMO is offering back in the USA and stuff now. Yeah, it's getting ready to reach. That's a good 15 5 minute play. So how much is it to hold it over the weekend on there? ES is showing strength at market open, guys. Same way with this. So when you think about it's a Monday, right? If they're gonna hold market open, that means the weekly candle is gonna turn bullish, and obviously the daily bar is very bullish, right? So potentially it doesn't mean it has to, but the likelihood right now that it's showing that it could. So we'll wait here another 10 minutes, and then I'll do a quick 15-minute review after the market closes today, and just kind of go over my mistakes and get ready for tomorrow. Yeah, if you go to their website, bro, they're back. You can actually you can get accounts with them now with being in the USA, which is pretty cool. I was actually thinking about doing it, but like I like to trade my personal CFD accounts on days that I don't trade Top Step. So But and like it just depends on the person. Like if you have a a balance on your personal that you like, or if you don't, then I would say go the funded route. Build some payouts over there, and then fund your CFD. They're strong. I'm watching ES. They're not showing any bearish prints on the 5 minute at all at that market open. So I'll kind of pan over to that because we know where the risk is on here. So looking at that, right? Like I know it closed lower, but the way that that candle closed 11:40, 11:45, and then you have a sign of strength. It's just more than likely when this one's holding the demand like that. I know some people call it like SMT divergences, all that different stuff. Um, it's just more than likely that they hold an area like that after this. This could have been a way faster day if we had that buy. I mean, YM is the real performer today. I mean, that pushed down to 49,250, and then you literally in one candle were at 49,550. That was like 250 points. And then say you took profit, and then you rebought New York Open, and the 450s up to 700. That's another 300 handles. One mini is $5. I mean, that's true. I'm doing that. Yeah, 100%. That's basically what I'm doing here with this. It seems like I said. It seems as if because I trade the five accounts across, so essentially it's like one one micro to me, right? So $2 a point times five accounts is basically a $10 move. So like at the end of the day, when I look at TradeZella, if price falls in my favor, it's still pretty good, and you're risking less. Most people come onto these top step accounts and they try to like full port one 50K account, and then they just have to keep restarting, and so I just space them out. I space my risk out over the five accounts. And so I'll build into like 4 or 5 contracts or whatever, like 4 contracts, if it's in my favor. And then I like to shed, but like today it's just like not working in my favor here. So, but I also play with volume that I can like mentally think, right? Because if I came on here and I just went, two minis on all these setups, I'd blow accounts some of these days. You know what I mean? That's anybody, honestly. So 12 will end the stream just because I want to go to the gym, and we'll see if they deliver the stop loss or what they're gonna do. Yeah, I spent time doing the two mini system with Tradeovate, and we ran it up, got some payouts, and then it would be like, you know, imagine having like a great payout, and then you're so excited after that, and then you go back to like a too many system, and then you bite into your buffer, and then it's just like, and then you have to restart, and it's just terrible. And when I was doing that, I was doing five 150Ks, 150Ks, or like 500Ks at a time, because I thought I needed more contracts to make more, which essentially I didn't. I just needed to space it out across the five. Yeah, today is actually, I gotta see what today is on my 8-week program. A lot of times too, what I'll do is like I'll take a futures position. If it goes into our favor, like say I was gonna buy here, I'd be waiting on my personal for myself to take profit on the futures buys to enter short on my personal, or vice versa. Let's say these fell into our favor before going higher. If they did it fast, I'd be looking to, and I want to take profit on these shorts. I'd be looking to buy my personal as I'm taking profit on a fast fall short here. But I just don't have my I wasn't looking to trade my personal accounts today. Maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday. So we'll trade CFD a little bit too. Yeah, because I mean, if you've got 5 accounts, it depends on how you do it. But if you've got two, right, that's $4 a point times five. So you're actually doing a mini. So when you look at your numbers at the end of the day, if you went 200 points, you'd make $4,000 in that day. But you're also risking a lot less than the person who takes one 50K account and takes one mini trade. But it looks like they're gonna go. I mean, ES is really strong, so looks like I want to make a new high on day. So yeah, because your balance will build too. Your balance will build, and then you're able to, like I said, if there was something I could size more into today, like if the buys would have presented a little bit differently for me, I probably size into them, like 2 contracts, then 2, and then I slide the 2 to manage. So, but today, like I said, today going into this week, I just want 3 solid days of some good wins, and then Friday, just make sure that I'm at a level to where I want to pay myself. Because I secured my 5 days on the new year last week, so. But I'm gonna leave this on. Like once I get off stream here at 12, I'll leave this risk on. So if it may deliver here by 12, but I'll leave this risk on. And then if it does slide in our favor, 850s to 825 to 800 would be the target. So. Because that'd put me back in the small green day, so. But it's not looking most likely. It looks more likely to me, previous day highs, 986s, and then 26,000 whole levels, so. Well, guys, sorry for some of the new mistakes in the beginning. We'll be back tomorrow to run it up, and hopefully we won't, we'll get a better buy position that we could have seen a little bit earlier. Like I said, I think it kind of happened pre-New York, 825 to 830, and then you'd have to be ready to just snipe it. And I was flipping windows and doing all kinds of stuff. So trade safe, and I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll be back tomorrow.